Hi guys. So I didn't go live yesterday, but I am going to go live tonight. I had some errands I had to run that just took up most of my day yesterday. So if you're following along, it's National Embroidery Month, February 2020, and this is the progress on the stitchery. Then I stitch and upload to YouTube ahead of time. And this is if you're sewing along. And let's see what stitch we will be doing tonight. We've done the satin stitch, chain stitch, long and short stitches. This was a chain stitch also. And I think that we'll go ahead and do the lazy daisy for the rabbit or his hair. So let me go ahead and thread my needle. So I had an order for 5 memory bears that I picked up the clothes yesterday for a local customer, and I will begin her order of the 5 memory bears. And information about the memory bears are on my website and my bio, and you can just find me pretty much online everywhere. And hopefully the lighting isn't too awfully bad tonight. I'm still working in part of the laundry room is my stitching area for tonight, but also I'm still setting up the sewing studio that will be in the main part of my bedroom upstairs, and the lighting will be so much better up there. So we will start with a short stitch for this rabbit's hair here, and then I'm going to do a lazy daisy stitch. Bring this up. Okay, and we always, right now we're working from behind the fabric. Bring your needle next to the hole and up, and you'll make a loop. Bring your needle through the loop, pull it, and you should see a little loop right here. Bring your needle back down to the head of the loop right there and take it to the back. And there is part of your lazy daisy. And we will do 2 or 3 more of these for the rabbit's hair. Let me make sure we're in the camera. Bring your embroidery floss to the top. Take your needle down by the hole. Make a loop. Bring the needle, let's bring the needle back up. Through the loop. Okay. Up. We're going to do this again. Bring it to the front. Down. Give this little bunny some personality here. Okay, bring it up like this. Loop it, bring it down. If you want classes in person, I offer those. And also online one-on-one, so we can work at a pace that's better for you. Alright, so the lazy daisy is done. That was a stitch for tonight. Actually for yesterday, because I wasn't on live yesterday, but we will continue here. I'm just going to tie this off, get as close to the knot as possible without cutting the knot. Alright, now let's see here. The bunny's arm, I did not fill in the bunny's arms, so we will do short stitches for the bunny's arm right now. Whoops, let me put a knot in this. been looking at studio lighting, and boy, I tell you, I just am not really familiar with what will work best in my sewing area of my house. So I need something that's going to be above me, because as you can see, the lighting is not that great. And whenever you're hand stitching like this, whether it's cross stitching or knitting, crocheting, anything that requires you know, like intricate designs and so forth, you really do need ample lighting. So I am going to have to figure this out quickly. The natural sunlight's nice, but again, being in Ohio right now, with it being winter, I just don't get that much natural sunlight, and I can't rely on that for filming purposes, which I'm sure you can imagine. But meanwhile, we will continue to do and work with what we can, and that's what I have right now. Alright, so we are going to take this down and finish this little bunny's arm with our back stitches here. I love teaching or instructing individuals on how to sew, whether it's how to make your own memory bear, to sewing home decor like pillows and aprons. You know, I just really like to help and show and teach and instruct how to do this type of skill. I am still doing like a small stitch. It's just I'm just doing a more advanced way of doing this. Work at your own pace. Don't try to keep up with me. Your stitches do not have to be perfect. Okay. All right, so the little bunny's arms are now done, and I will tie this off. Typically, the ideal way to go on Facebook Live or Instagram Live is to have a schedule and, you know, stick to it, that kind of thing. And with me still trying to unpack and help the family get situated, I cannot nail down a time to go live. So I will get there, and I'll be working on that. And if you're listening or you have a suggestion on a good time, you know, because you're interested in following along, please let me know what works for you. I am in the Eastern time zone, so it'll have to be around, you know, Eastern time. Okay, so we did the lazy daisy. We've not done French knots. So tonight I'm going to go ahead and show you the French knots, and we're going to French knot his two eyes, and then a couple French knots in one of the Easter eggs. So I'm going to get rid of this floss here. Ideally, you would have more than one needle for changing out your floss, but I have the needles elsewhere for right now. So I use all 6 strands. And usually it doesn't take me this long. Okay, we're done with that part. Get rid of it. Anyways, roll this. Whoa, sorry about that. need to take my time. I'm not in a hurry. No sense in rushing. Alright, so we are going to do the French knot for his eye. Let me check my phone real quick to make sure that my husband made it. Okay. Let me see if this helps any. Is that better for lighting? Hopefully. Alright, so this is the French knot. You take your needle, you wrap your embroidery floss twice, hold it tight, go back into the dot, pull straight and tight. There's one little knot, which is the French knot. One, two. Bring it back to the hole that you just made. Okay, so now our bunny has eyes. Isn't he cute? Alright. Now you could obviously tie this off. For time's sake, I did not do that initially, but if you wanted to tie each knot off, you could do that. Get my little scissors here. Alright. Bunny's eyes, that's a French knot. And I said we would go over here, but I need a different color floss for that. So I might as well go ahead and fix the bunny's nose since I have the black already on here. And we're going to do just a few tiny little short stitches for his nose. Trim some of this off. Okay, I'm going to tie off his nose. Okay, that's his face. We have 3 whiskers, so we might as well keep working on the bunny's face. I have plenty of embroidery floss on my needle. So I'm going to go ahead and do his 3 little whiskers like we have here, okay? These are his whiskers. These are the small back stitch. So we will go ahead and do these. I'm hoping to go live tomorrow morning. I'm looking to go live, I'm hoping before noon. And then that would be ideal, I think, for my schedule tomorrow. Basically, again, the short stitch is just going in and out, in and out, in and out touching. You want to make sure each stitch touches the stitch before that without splitting it, because if you split the stitch, then that's a chain stitch, okay, or a split stitch. Many different stitches, several have the same, several different names, but the same stitch, if that makes any sense. Hopefully it does. All right, and then we have this little whisker here. I want to make this whisker just a little bit longer. Oh, stuck on my ring. Stuck on my wedding band. Okay. Here we go. So now I'm going to tie him off. Tie the little whiskers off. So we are making progress. I think he's beginning to look really cute. I have quite a bit of black embroidery floss on this needle. Ideally, you would have more than one needle and you could just stick it off to the side. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and take this off and save it for the next project. I do save all of my loose embroidery floss in a shoebox, a plastic shoebox. Same with this brown. I'm going to save that over there. All right, now I wanted to show you a few colonial or French knots. They're not technically the same. A French knot is tinier with no hole. So I'm going to try that on this Easter egg. I did it differently. I actually used long and short stitches for this Easter egg. But I'm going to do the French knot for you guys here. I don't want green. Let's try some of this blue and white mixture. Whenever you start to thread your needle, if it does this, just trim it off. No harm, no foul. Okay. So we'll do some French knots with this blue. You don't have to make your knot as big as I do, but I do this for showing purposes, okay? Alright, so this colonial knot, again, you'll take your floss and your needle, and you'll wrap it around twice. Put it back through the hole. There's one. Two. We can do one more. Gives it a little bit of a 3D look. I like that. All right, so we have 3 colonial knots there. I'm going to tie this one off. All right, and I will go ahead and show you my little Smyrna stitch so they look like stars. So you are getting, let's see, we showed you Lazy Daisy tonight and the French knot tonight. This is the colonial knot. See how much bigger they are than the French knot with a little loop. So this will be 1, 2, 3. This will be your 4th stitch tonight. Not too shabby. Making up for lost time, right? Okay. So the Smyrna, S-M-Y-R-N-A stitch is basically crisscrossing, okay? So you're going to go north and south, or up and down, and then across. Right, and then diagonal. Now I like to make my diagonal lines a little bit longer than the other lines. It reminds me of a star. Okay. There we go. So there's one. And I am going to, you don't have to do this, but I'm going to tie these off individually. So I tied this one off, and I'm going to show you another one. So they can be really any length you'd like. I like to vary the lengths of each stitch. Are you able to see this one? So again, I'm going to tie this one off. Here you go. Here we go. All right, so we have this. It's going to be a little bit larger than the last two, and I think it just shows up better in the camera. So let's, I'm going to try to hold my stitchery still so you can get a better look at that. All right, so that is it for the night, and tomorrow morning we will continue with our Easter inspired stitchery. Doesn't have to be Easter, but it does have the Easter eggs and a bunny on it. All right, guys, I hope that you catch up and follow along. Catch up with me online, I should say, not catch up with me on the stitchery. You can join in anytime at your own pace. Feel free to send me some questions, and I hope you have a great evening. Bye, guys.